Right. I'm not that big of a monster. I'd never hold out on you like that. Okay, let's begin. Get to your assigned seats. Welcome back, Frisky Hurdle. And so the curtain opened once again. Sorry, no, it's the correct screen. I just have to... Oh wait, no, you're totally right. That is the wrong screen. And so the curtain opened once again. You didn't miss anything, it was just Monokuma monologuing. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal. A deadly riddle, a deadly defense, and a deadly faith. A deadly class trial. Whoops. You missed in the last hour me getting all of the stuff that goes for this. You'll understand when I go through this. Increases focus gauge by 2, effective during the crash trial. Cool. I'm thinking that's all I have. Yep. That's all I have. Still.
Let's begin with a basic explanation. If you can figure out who did, I'll punish everyone now then.
We already know.
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit.
Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't. Someone knocked me out. I was asleep the whole time. I don't know anything about it.
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it. And all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know. I don't know.
Is Hiro really the killer, or before anything else, we have to make that clear.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all that you are. They call...
It's not true. It's
Hiro, why?
no. Just hold on a second.
Okay, so it's gonna be the blueprints.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all that you are. They call...
It's not true. It's
Hiro, why?
no. Just hold on a second.
Everything we found in your room.
Lock slips. I totally
The
understand.
blueprints, the suit parts.
No, that's wrong.
Yes! I knew it! Because it's the wrong handwriting.
Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say?
Why would you say alter ego right in front of Monokuma? Say Monokuma doesn't know what alter ego is. Wouldn't that be really stupid? Why didn't you just say, why don't you look at this note? Then again, Makoto's really dumb, so...
When you compare it to the blueprints,
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on. I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
Savage.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent as well.
I thought that was coming.
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
I think it was Hiro.
I got it!
Like, that wasn't a
Other than
lie.
Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit. And we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
This guy is not helpful at all.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
Oh, gasp.
So what you're saying is...
That's right.
Set up.
The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
It's 100% a setup.
What?
Now that's a bold assumption. And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around.
All things have a proper order.
Ooh.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
Smackdown.
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body.
I don't know why we need to, but it was
would
also...
seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items.
Yeah, it was the dolly, but why do we care?
Makoto, can...
I mean, do I need to do both? Well, since I don't have the actual... Oh, there it is, the repository dolly. It's very clearly that. There's still one more thing, the tarp, right? Okay, I was wondering, I was gonna say, technically it's the tarp and the dolly, right?
I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with that attitude?
So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right?
Hey, wait, his hair went back to black.
It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly.
Can't just say Super Saiyan charged up when you're dead. I mean, you're not wrong.
Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository...
Wait a second, so if he was Super Saiyan, doesn't that mean we can gather, like, 9, like, Dragon Balls or something to bring him back to life?
So did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body?
Yes, you little punk, because there's blood on the wheel.
That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room.
And this is why I think Celeste has a hand in it. I think she's actually the mastermind who's bossing Hifumi around, because of exactly how she's talking.
Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
And this drives me crazy because I like Celeste.
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong, and nobody expects much from you anyway.
Wow! Rude!
We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Super rude! I have been literally the person who did both of the cases by myself the last 2 freaking times! Despite apparently other people knowing. Never heard someone sound so nice while being so mean. But maybe I can change her mind. Just explain to them why the dolly had to be moved, which is the blood on the wheel. Yeah, she wouldn't have any trouble manipulating Hifumi. Exactly, we've seen her do it before already. A new element has been added. Are you kidding me? Another one? Let's talk about reloading. Starting with the next bullet time battle, we're going to add one more ingredient to the recipe. On the bottom of the screen, underneath the tempo marker, you see your ammo count. Until now, there hasn't been really a limit on how many... Oh, of course. Can't destroy more statements no matter how locked on. However, you can load by pressing the tab key. Okay. By the way, I'm on the hardest difficulty. I'm not looking forward to the, what is it, Nega time mode?
You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Do your worst. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
Why am I fighting with her? Like, that's the problem. I shouldn't have to fight with her, and that's why I'm really worried, because I don't want her
for
being
proof that the dolly moved. I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Jeez, does Celeste really hate me that much? I thought you changed your mind about her because you're so creepy to hate me after. So, I was talking with my other friend, and when I realized that, if you read into what she says, she actually isn't like that. She literally was just like, I kind of want tea, and I know Hifumi's into that, so it's kind of still a win-win just to get the stupid tea anyways, because she hasn't acted like that at all, other than that one moment. So it was literally her just being like, hey, I want tea. Give me tea. And it's not like Hifumi was mad about it.
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then...
No. Just for reference, not into that. I see the kappa, but still, gonna throw that out there.
What kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer.
I'm not into tea.
If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
Oh, I don't like sweet tea. I've never been a fan of sugary tea whatsoever. I think he's talking about the fact that it was a broken dolly and you can't bend over in the suit. Please be something like that so I kind of know what's going on.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
And that's where you're wrong, kiddo.
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low.
Jovine love.
But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together, remember?
Can't see my feet. Telling you it wasn't me, not to mention you totally can't bend at the waist.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
Except he couldn't because there was a clasp.
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember...
Blah, blah, blah. You can't get off the suit. There's a clasp on the back, which is, by the way, a really realistic, good-looking clasp.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hiro wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hiro in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took?
That's the biggest
You all
problem.
got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice?
And that's the #1 reason why I think Celeste is working with Hifumi.
If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
He's not dead. How did you get hurt? That guy hit me. What guy? Robo Justice, or that's what I decided to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hiro, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hina, please, you're killing me, girl.
Hold on a second.
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Well,
Let's
have more
review this
clues.
series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant.
Which, by the way, this is everything that actually happened, so here's your explanation for what you missed.
I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume.
Also, a problem here is the fact that you don't know this yet, but one of the clues we got was Taka's watch was broken and was a little after 6, so he died at about 6 anyways.
As it turns out, it was Robo Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office...
What's wrong? I saw shadows, something moving around the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. And that's the other problem that I have with them clearly getting led to Taka by Celeste. It was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
and then...
Yeah. Huh. What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead.
Or so we thought.
And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement.
Except that...
I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor, to let the others know what had happened.
Key thing, there was only 1 body announcement that was made, and I don't know whether or not this is actually supposed to be something like this or not, but there was only 1 body announcement made, not 2.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time.
And this is the biggest problem I have.
Because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And we never actually heard an announcement for Hifumi. We only heard Taka's, technically. I think that's what happened.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating this all or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies.
Dun dun dun!
And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository.
Oh really? Celeste found the bodies, huh? You mean the person who was working with Hifumi, who was inside the locked door that he had to unlock from the inside. Got it.
Which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
Notice that Hifumi had clean glasses in that one, by the way.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated.
Not if you realize Hifumi's not dead.
It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
There is a little bit more going on to it. And I think that's the biggest problem, is the first one that's supposed to have 2 people.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
Contradictions hidden in what happened to Taka. To uncover the truth, I have to show them. It's the fact that the watch is wrong. His watch said 6 o'clock, and there's no way that's after 7. Broken wristwatch. Hey, would you look at that?
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died, or perhaps it was after.
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
Dang it.
What makes you say?
Because of the numbering of the justice.
It's true that Hifumi was killed, but while Taka's death came...
See? So it's obvious Taka came...
I don't know which one I'm supposed to shoot.
I wonder if he... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in.
So it's not that one.
Shoot!
So, I wonder if, or perhaps it was. We already know Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
What if... But we know that's not right.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before he, or perhaps it was after.
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed while Taka's death came from a
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
What am I supposed to shoot?
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if...
Or perhaps it was after. We already know what order they were killed. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came...
Am I supposed to do it this way?
I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed.
No, that's wrong.
Okay. Riddle me that, Batman. I want to know your explanation here, but...
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers.
Okay. But... Why wouldn't you just say... whatever.
If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi?
I know it's mind blown.
Okay then, let's see the proof.
Evidence that proves he was killed before Hifumi. Maybe the watch that I tried using. Is it going to be literally typing in the watch? It's wristwatch. Could you give me the letter C, please? None of those are the letter C. That one is, though.
Now I understand.
How dare I use a clue one little bit too early, man.
I've got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night...
He yelled at me for being late, by the way. And he said, it was almost 10 o'clock. You're late, when he was Super Saiyan still. But I guess being Super Saiyan didn't save his life.
So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those Justice Hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder, but all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's
Kind
right.
of.
With him, at least, we're all safe.
Huh? What's that? We literally already watched this entire exact thing in this exact clip.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
Or he did it to himself.
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
This guy's like an idea guy, but not a problem-solving guy.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body.
That is a fact.
Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to what Celeste said,
Could have been gone for more than a minute or two. Though the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in a minute or two. It would seem so.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Who would have thought Hifumi's weight would have been such a big deal?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another ghost!
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
Sounds familiar.
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive. Is it really possible? Equipment room bloodstains, Celeste's account. Let's see what they give me.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No. If Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No.
And that is why the announcement...
Are we really so sure? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he was actually...
No.
What?
It is impossible. Hifumi was dead.
And you know that
Surely you heard the body discovered. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No, that's wrong.
It's like exactly what I thought happened.
Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Hey!
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty. Huh? He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again.
Exactly.
If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Which is, again, something else that I picked up.
Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
The second body discovery announcement. The first time it was played when we found the body in the nurse's office in the equipment room, but that was only one. And the second time was when we found both of the bodies rediscovered.
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies.
Bodies were discovered, blah blah blah.
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Although, it could just be Taka's body again, because only 4 people originally found it. So, technically speaking, if Celeste didn't kill it, Celeste is finding Taka's for the first time. Hina is finding Taka's for the first time. And no, not Sakura. Who would be the third? I don't know, I'm missing something there.
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And something still doesn't add up right there, if you ask me.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know!
It's the glasses cleaner.
Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boo!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
Has to be proof. It's maybe the fact that he had clean glasses. Am I showing something to them, or do... Okay, yeah, to make your argument. Hifumi's glasses. Without a doubt. Why were they clean?
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body, and then, well, his body disappeared.
And the next time it was in the...
But when you compare his body before being moved, and his other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Oh, it's the next thing. Shut up, Celeste.
Well, here's one. The first time we found him, and then his body disappeared.
And the next time it was in the...
But when you compare his body before,
Other than the change in how it was, there was no notable difference.
False.
No, that's wrong.
Hey, boy.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood.
Ta-da.
But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
Oh, the spotless one is what Celeste used to kill Hifumi. That's what it was. There it is.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot.
One that he loves very
One look
much.
at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
Why does he remember that?
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... What exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
Why would somebody wipe the blood off?
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Then it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
There's paint in the nurse, or there's blood in the nurse's office.
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
What up, copious corpse? I mean, it's fun to say.
If he was gonna play dead, he should go all out. So he just dumped it everywhere. But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done. God, what an idiot!
Oh my god, I love that. Sorry, the way she says that. God, what an idiot. It's just so perfect.
If Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained.
Because then Hifumi moves it.
It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
The one who moved Taka was Hifumi.
I got it!
No, it was Taka himself.
It
Neither of
could
them are
only
actually
have
dead.
been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well,
Yep.
after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository.
Yep.
But when we got there, the door was locked.
I also checked that in stream, by the way, and I was kind of mad.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means, when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
Notice the one of part.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed.
I'd love to know which one.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
Oh, the note. The thing is still... It's...
I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Celeste is gonna get pissed because she didn't know about that.
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Jill, please.
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
Found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
Ah, that's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said,
1 a.m.
Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro, and that person could only have been... I got it! That's right! Taka!
Did that just say Hifumi's pants? Hold up. Did that just say Hifumi's pants? We're gonna keep going.
The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection!
And your objection
I don't
is?
really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right?
Yes.
So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
No.
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Also their future names. Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still. I can't let her get to me. Wait, do I have to play a bullet time game with her now? Okay, no, thank goodness. It's gonna be the rips. We're missing something. None of these are right.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was it must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to me?
6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
I guess it's gonna be the watch.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note... What time did it say?
6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, that's wrong.
I guess that's what it is. I would have preferred to
No,
attack it from a different
there
angle.
absolutely is a connection.
Because we have another clue.
What the hell are you talking about?
Rude.
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch.
I don't know if you saw it, but I do have a piece of ripped paper that was in Taka's hand here.
But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. Ugh. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show up.
Do I really need... This seems like 100% totally not needed whatsoever, but here you go.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper.
Actually, Kyoko did.
If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That
Yep.
means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa, yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
I was kind of on his boat for a while. Part of me still thinks that I could make an argument that's true. Something doesn't add up, though. The problem is the hammer that I found was clearly cleaned afterwards, so my guess is... yeah.
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead.
Which I don't know why Hina was able to grab him, cry on him. He woke back up, still said something, and then still died. Why did he still work with Celeste till the end?
The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Celeste.
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Rude.
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file,
When did you read that?
the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Savage.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
I'm so mad that it's her.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were
Neither.
accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then,
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
It was the other hammer. Sorry, I'm trying to get through this because I think I'm really, really close to actually being done. Let's spot this hammer.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3?
Oh, come on. I answered the question, you little punk.
What was used? Was it just maybe Justice?
well, there's one. How was the culprit able to... How did nobody witness them carry...
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Did she really? I kind of want to see what that website goes to if I go to murdertime.com/hammertime.
What was used? Was it just maybe Justice?
Well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody...
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more...
Well, the murder weapon had to be one of the and...
There we go.
No, that's wrong. The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris, but for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones,
Ones you can stick in the steam.
and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the justice hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
Whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him. Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about that, but that's what we thought at first. But I know it's her. I'm so mad. I'm just so mad. None of those are gonna be helpful.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us,
Even if more than one, only the one who actually cares.
assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two...
That is how the rule.
But that only really applies. In this case, however, there were 2 murders.
Ah, I needed to grab that.
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really in this case, however, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
There we go.
No, that's wrong.
No, that's wrong.
Since there were 2 murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been 1 murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only 1 person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that 2 people could act as each other's accomplices to commit 2 separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime, and based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating 2 separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
Which does kind of go back and say that, no, I was wrong. And really, Celeste is terrible.
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
Not really. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning. That's why she said not to look at this series of connected events but 2 separate events. Kyoko is really amazing. Although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, almost unnatural how good she is at
I
this.
understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
True killer had to be... Oh, does it let me pick that when you consider that? There's really only one person who seems to fit.
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot!
Is this Celeste's real voice?
Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the 2 of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the 2 of you were working together.
I think... Yeah, I was wrong. I think my friend was trying to trick me, though. To be fair. because he likes Celeste. And I would be lying if I said I didn't think she's cute. They think only Salumi, they were the only ones who ever screamed.
Shoot!
Oops. I mean, they were the only ones who screamed, but they also were the only one who encountered the suspicious
The
individual.
behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual, and the only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Dick?
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
Right?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct?
Kikuya is such a rude guy.
And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
Oh, I saw him up the stairs, guys.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong? It's a rather intense scream. Saw him, the stranger costume man. Ran off the stairs, I screamed. It was blocking the stairs, so I headed further down the hall and he disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Which is the fake scream. What was that? Came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi in the nurse's office. Come on. Gotta go back.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split into two groups? I don't think the hunting party seems much more interesting. Very well, Makoto and Hina. We go to the nurse's office. I'm not gonna read that, because it's not worth it.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on.
I wasn't expecting that.
That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
That's kind of weak, but okay.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
I don't even know why they brought that up. That's like the weakest point.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Dun dun dun.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I miss something?
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just like those guys died. She didn't know the other one died, right?
Saying that too, but
That's okay.
don't
I thought that
understand
was
what's
true
so
because
strange
I was
about
like, I didn't think she knew that Taka had died yet because we didn't say it, but whatever.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Bakuya said that Celeste's comment doesn't make any sense, but what is he alluding to? Maybe... Oh, come on, do I really have to go through the gun game again? Or... Celeste account.
All I said was, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be positive we are all going to die here. We are going to die. Just like those guys died. And that is all.
And that's all it takes to...
What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Do I need to say shoot? So do I need to grab So Strange and shoot what I had? This is so dumb.
They must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die. And that is all.
And that's all it takes.
What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die. Just like.
Okay, that's what it was.
No,
I don't like how they make you do that, but okay.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys?
I don't know about the both guys part, but...
Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
I've definitely heard people say guys as a plural for just multiple people.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations.
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took?
Well, I mean, if you're working with Hifumi, it's pretty easily explained, bud.
How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It's super easy. He was in the costume, you put that around him, you made him act like it, and you took a picture. Easy game, easy life.
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on. And then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit.
I love how she's like grabbing at straws right now.
Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
Thank you, Kyoko.
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Celeste, please. Other explanations. If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging him away, the only other possibility is...
I got it! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away.
Thinks she's guilty. I don't know. I don't know. She's making a good argument.
I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Rude. Celeste thinks she can prove there was no way. Is that really possible? No. No, it's really not. Alright, let's see what she
You
says.
dressed me
Whoops.
up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is the person inside the suit. There's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot
Except
is the culprit after
you
all.
can't bend over.
No way!
You can't bend over in the costume, so he would be standing up anyways.
Dressed me up in that. Then you just draped me across. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside the suit was unconscious.
Fine, it's the one after it. Give me a break.
Shoot!
Oh, I hate...
You dressed me up in that. Then you just draped me. You tried to make me look.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person there's no way they could stand up straight.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after
No way!
Oh, I hate when I miss it just by that much.
Me up in that. Then you just draped me. You tried to make me look.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside there's no way they could stand up.
No, that's wrong.
Some of the stuff in this game, I tell ya.
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that, because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
It couldn't bend. You literally showed us this exact
That's right.
scene.
They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Dude, that face, so triggered.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Do I get to hear a real voice now? Dude, this camera works amazing.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot. What do you mean, checkmate?
It's a real voice!
Celeste?
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well,
There's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Hey, Hifumi, who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed me? That's right, I remember the name. Yasukiro.
when we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not?
She is losing it.
He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro.
What's your real name, Celeste?
In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right, but my name isn't really Yasuhiro. It's actually Taro.
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
Called out by Sakura.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Dude, I love her. Oh, she's hilarious.
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us.
He used to say last names.
How did he
exclusively.
refer to each of us?
I got it!
Oh god.
That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
What's Celeste's last name? I forget.
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
No, I'm not. I like her character and I think she's funny. I would never date a girl like that. Shush. You be quiet.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think she looks really cute and I think her hair is awesome. Also, I like her normal voice a lot. Way better than her fake Celeste voice.
Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal.
Can I look at my menu? I want to see what her last name is. Oh, it doesn't tell you. It used to tell you in the report card, I
But he
swear.
must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
I'm still confused as to what role Kyoko's supposed to be playing, since we still don't know what she's the ultimate of. I still think she's the ultimate assassin. but whatever.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on.
The role of the
There's one
ultimate
person
badass.
it could
Lol.
apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
I was gonna say.
What did you just say?
To be fair, I did actually literally say that word for word.
To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you?
She sounds so ridiculous.
Well, do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Yes, you do. Oh, savagely called out.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up!
My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste won't give up, so then I have to do something to make her accept it. Her pad! Her. This is why Kyoko said, the handbooks are gonna be important, but not, because they were used as part of the murder. I need her handbook. E-handbook. There it is. There it is.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name.
If there's one person,
It would have to be you, Celeste.
how many times?
Celestia Ludenberg, god damn!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me, that's the only truth there is! Moron!
She's so funny.
Hifumi he wanted us to know the killer. If there's one person,
It would have to be you, Celeste.
how many
So I have to be
times?
really careful that I do the right one.
Celestia Ludenberg!
How long do you plan?
I'm not pretending. And since you have no
Oh,
way to
rage.
contradict me, that's the only truth there is! Moron!
Well, I'll get this, I
He
promise.
wanted us to know the killer. If there's one person,
It would have to be you, Celeste.
how many times?
Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan?
I'm not pretending. And since
You have no way to contradict.
No!
Objection!
That's it!
Yeah, I know, I messed up, okay?
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
Handbook's absolutely vital. When you start it up, displays your name. I'm not reading the rest of it.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Nah, that'd be too easy.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, and that'll bring...
I hate that I have to do this part. That's the one thing that does bug me, though. Especially because I think I have 1 health. What is that Hifumi face? Like, what? This might be a problem. Dude, I really wanted to finish this today. No, because it's not 3 that was murdered for him. It was 4. library, found Hifumi. Justice Hammer 2. Lol. Unless there's something showing him washing the Justice Hammer, but I don't think there is. No, that's just her holding it, which is clearly taken from right there. So it's supposed to be him reaching in there? Let me make sure that's not used anywhere else. Because they like to reuse, so I know that one's definitely not one. That's right there. That one's from a different story, that one's from a different story, that one's from a different story. That's taken from right there. And that's from a different story. I think this is right. Oh wait, how do I look at hints? So let's take this one, for example. How did the cooler recruit the accomplice? Was it seduction? Like that? So does that make sense? Also, it's not anywhere else, right? What time did the killers call the victim to the rec room? That was 1 a.m. But I don't have anything telling me 1 a.m. Like, what? Who was the killers summoned that the killers summoned first? Is this supposed to be him taking out a note or something? Oh, 1 a.m. There we go. I apparently completely missed that. They knocked him out and stuffed him in the robo-suit to falsify the evidence and then use a certain item. That's the camera. Sorry, I have to make sure I have this right. What time was Taka? Yep. Justice Hammer that killed Taka was number 4. Library Haka used 2. Just Hammer in the nurse's office was 3. I'm like 90. Hifumi used something to move. Yep, cool. Sorry, again, I know this is not that fun, but I need to 100% make sure this is right. Weapon the killer used, what was it? Are we looking for the dirty version or the clean one? I'm assuming the clean one because the dirty one because the clean one's right there. Cool. I think we're good.
Exactly what happened. Before anything.
I'm gonna just jump through this really fast because I think we all know the story. Because, like, we literally just spent, like, the past hour, or actually, like, 3 hours talking about this exact thing. Because I know I read through basically everything that happened before we even said it in the court. I love that animation, though. It's so ridiculous. So what is Celeste's real name, though? Dude, she looks so pissed.
Celeste! Sorry, you lose.
I lost? I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter
I think
such
she's upset.
words?
Nah, she
They
can't be
hang
upset.
heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no.
What's your real name?
Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Aw,
Keiko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I don't know what. So far, I'm on chapter 5 trial. It's my fave trial from the fact the spin of him attacking the room, the comic that is, but the scene is there's that kind of blood and coverage. Yeah, I like that comic is just the best.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Dude, her real voice is so much better than her. I love it a lot better.
Interesting.
That comic with him spinning in the blood, though, is definitely, like, the best. I'm gonna get butchered because there were some parts where I just failed miserably. Apparently not. Okay, cool. I'm cool with 111 coins.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin.
She's the one who doesn't want to drag on.
Or, no.
She didn't give up. She already accepted such a terrible score in A. Shush.
I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote. Okay? Okay.
And we'll leave it for next. I'm just kidding. I'm not that bad.
If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened?
I
Will
wonder.
you make the right choice?
Yes, we will. It's basically a formality at this point. But once again, you're totally correct, Mugfuck. Thanks, buddy. The Blacken this time, the true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was... Celestia Ludenberg, or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro.
Honestly.
Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Hifumi's ineptitude was beyond all my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Hifumi with this plan. But how did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have so happily agreed to commit murder. I'm sure she relied on her specialty. Lying. My specialty. Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree.
So then,
I knew you'd figured out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right. To get Hifumi to act as my accomplice,
Indeed.
I used her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning it by name, but it was the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into. Oh. Does she mean she's talking about alter ego?
Say what?
Monokuma, you dense idiot! I literally spilled the beans at the start because main character is an idiot and literally said, word for word, hey, this is the note that they gave us when they wanted to go talk about alter ego. So, you know, don't play stupid, Monokuma. What? What are you talking about?
just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here. I'm totally out of the loop, as usual. How sad.
In other words,
Then you're the one that stole it.
Indeed.
I
That's
see.
right. And you used it to drag Hifumi into the plan you've come up with. Right again. Last night, after we had our meeting about how it disappeared, I paid Hifumi a little visit. What are you doing here?
Actually,
I was hoping I could talk to you. Alone. It is about what was stolen. I know who did it. Considerate of her to keep the secret for the rest of you. You're correct. At least she can acknowledge that it's really important.
What?
What?
are you okay with this?
It was Taka. He stole it. What?
So then,
I have proof. Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I'd found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and taken pictures there. I deleted the picture as soon as I'd shown it to Hifumi, of course.
Damnation!
So it was him! But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You are correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
Say what?
as for me,
Please forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh,
He did?
as for me,
He came into my room last night unannounced, and then it's hard for me to even say. He abused me. Oh.
what?
Then he took pictures. He said if I did not do it as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So I had no choice. Wow. That got really, really dark really, really quick.
Damnation!
That's a crime! An absolute crime! I know it got a little crazy, but
Say what?
I never imagined he would go that far. And the truth is he never would. It was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how enjoyable that was. You're a monster. Why would my friend make you think you were not as terrible? She's a monster. I'm gonna say something I've never said before in my life. I'm gonna kill him! I'm gonna fucking kill him!
most
Wait,
unfortunate.
please. If you go now, you'll be playing right into his hands. Huh?
Actually,
Taka is planning to use her to escape. And he has made you as his target.
What?
Escape? You don't mean? Taka is going to try to kill you. She is 100% unadulterated monster. I didn't think she was that bad, but I clearly have made a huge mistake.
indeed.
And all so that he can keep her to himself.
This is
bastard!
unforgivable! Completely unforgivable!
I'll just leave it at that.
Honestly,
Can we allow him to continue with these barbaric acts? Keeping alter ego a secret, given how awful she is. I mean, the fact that she's willing to kill everybody else, like, she already knows that she lost. So she, like, there's no reason for her to throw everybody else under the bus just because she lost. Like, she can own up and take her own mistake. Absolutely not! How could I?
I swear I will save her!
She admitted defeat and is good sport. Exactly. She can at least be a good sport about it. It's all on her. I mean,
actually,
yeah. Would you like to join me? It just so happens I've come up. I lied about being abused and killed two. No, technically she only killed one. But her lying about being abused is what killed the other one. So I have come up with a plan. Huh? I have devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreadful school. And with that, it is complete. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Hifumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love. Whoa, she killed one person and convinced the other to kill her to better hide her deed later. Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah. Even a love as twisted that can still drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me.
I see.
I have another question for you. Was that strange costume Hifumi's creation?
Indeed.
Yep. It was a real pain in the butt, too. All I asked for him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that, but it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
But...
So, why'd you make me the suspect? Because you're stupid.
Huh?
That's it?
Let's see.
Yeah, if you... Yes, okay, so had she escaped, all of us would have died. But, when she knows she lost, why be a dick to everybody else just because you... Her mistake wasn't choosing Hifumi, it was being super obvious of leading the investigation. That's also very true. She did some really stupid stuff on her own. In that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my every expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. You're such a bitch! I mean, I understand where both of you are coming from, but I'm pretty sure it has to be this way, otherwise the game can't keep going. That's all. I feel like I could cry.
Well,
But when you were explaining your plan to Hifumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead?
What she's asking is, what was Hifumi supposed to do after that, assuming you actually let him live?
Are you
That's simple. After he did his part and pretended to be dead, once someone showed up, I told him to say he'd been seriously wounded and he was on the verge of death but barely held on. And he really believed that? Well, of course. That wasn't all there was to it. As I explained to Hifumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what had happened, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hifumi would have an alibi, so nobody would doubt him. I told him that, and he believed it. It all seems very straightforward. Stereotypical. Flips table. I mean, to be fair, the character that she is now is supposed to be, like, she's not a good person. Don't get me wrong. But she's also not a vindictive person. Those are two really different people. She considers the secret to be a win against Monokuma at the end. And to be fair, Monokuma is really the big villain at the end of it. So even if she lost, there's no reason for her to make everybody else lose. She's not vindictive. I just matched the lie to the level opponent. In fact, Hifumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right up until his moment of death.
so in the end,
You had planned to kill him all along?
But of course. There would have been no point in my plan if someone who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
What the heck?
How can a human life mean so little to you?
well?
That's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
Don't be mean!
Now you just sound like Byakuya.
I wonder about that.
No, he derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
I mean, then what made you take things this far? I understand where you guys are coming from. Don't get me wrong. I'm not... She's a bad person. Trust me, I know.
What the heck?
Was it really just for money? Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money, it's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life began, my only thought has been escape.
But...
All along, you've been saying how we have to keep except living here.
You little bitch!
I'm just gonna let her say that.
Hey!
I couldn't take it! I hated it from day one! More than anyone else in here!
You little bitch!
I wanted to get out. Every day was fresh torture. And do you want to know why? Huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. And accepting life here would have meant nothing less than giving up on my dream forever. Still a bitch, still evil, still a murderer, but she does love to win. And what better way to win than to outsmart the master? And I fully agree. And that's... Even if she's not really directly the winner, it's better than being 100% the loser.
Honestly.
And there was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphorical killing.
As for me,
And it was all for that dream. And what was that dream of yours?
isn't it wonderful?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? A castle. And to gather handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butlers / bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I obtained that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic world of decadence.
This is fine.
Living the rest of my life there was my only dream, my only goal. That's what life is all about! Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge, but
There is nothing to be done.
unfortunately, my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream to the very end, so why would I?
Just the worst.
You sound so passionate, but you were really able to kill your own friends for it? Reasons to kill me, I can see myself in my dreams, just saying. I get where you're coming from. I'm tilted? I mean...
Oh,
Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own ends. I feel nothing.
do you understand?
That's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying. And plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take pride in that. Yeah, no, the person who literally doesn't feel guilt is serving everybody. So, I think the point that you're missing, though, is there's no reason for her to bring it up. It's not that she's altruistic, it's that she just doesn't care. Why would she bring it up? Like, I guess that's the point, and that's kind of what the character I think they're trying to make is. It's just like, yeah, no. It doesn't achieve her dream, and she's already been chasing her dream the whole time. It doesn't get her any closer, so why would she even waste time with it? It's not just other people. I can even feel my own emotions. The conscious deceives the unconscious. And that's why you're not scared. And that's why you're not scared? Or you just say, you know what, instead of the name? I mean, because she doesn't feel like... Just because she doesn't care if, like, other people get hurt doesn't... Like, she doesn't care if it advances her goal. That's also true. It's a further lie, and she likes doing that kind of crap.
Yes, indeed.
That's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But if you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I'd like to come back as Marie Antoinette. Doesn't she get... Oh my god, is she gonna get beheaded?
Hey,
You just get executed again. She is the ultimate gambler, but that kind of goes hand in hand, doesn't it? Celeste smiled then. And when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own feelings, but that statement itself must have been her final lie. And that weak, fake smile is what betrayed her.
Thrills, chills, kills!
You all done? Okay then, let's get rolling! The black and disturb the peace and must pay the price!
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment.
For her, the ultimate gambler!
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
My guess
I'll
is...
let Kyoko hold on to this.
What?
Oh, it's the the thing that I told them they should have done in the first place.
Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why, actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again, in another life.
I can definitely get that. She's also like super crazy costume. It'd be really impressive to see somebody cosplay as her. What does she get like spun around in? Oh, she's in her castle. What does the ultimate gambler get? What? Are you serious? That's messed up, dude. No, 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 no. Celeste is as deep as an inflated kiddie pool. Ouch. That's kind of savage. I don't know if I agree, but okay. I can understand where you're coming from. Is she seriously gonna get burned to death? Because that's like super messed. How is this fit for a gambler? Wait, what? Because she's a real witch. Wait, what? Did she just get killed? What? She didn't even die by getting burnt down. She just got straight up ran over. That's messed up, dude. I don't... Man. Well, let me save first. Alright, that's gonna be it for today, guys. We went like an hour over how long I was expecting to take, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this out, and I'm honestly probably gonna go to sleep, to be honest. Oh, no, no, that's not